Hi Year 5s and welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson, and today we are going to finish off converting between kilograms and grams based on what we learned yesterday, linking the two together. So we've got a review task to start with. Please pause the video and have a go at the activities. Okay, so how did you get on? Hopefully you got on really well with those because these are all skills that we have been learning over the last week, and we hopefully are embedding these by now. So which calculations have been completed correctly and which calculations are incorrect and why? So I hope you spotted that the first one here, 3 times 1,000 is 300. That can't be correct because we haven't moved our 3 places to the left. Okay, it's only actually moved 2 places to the left. So at the moment, this has only been multiplied by 100. So 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. And actually that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because if I had 1,000 and I added 1,000 and I added 1,000, that's 3 lots of 1,000 and that would be 3,000. Okay, what about this one? Hopefully you spotted that this one was correct. So the 3/10 have moved 3 places to the left. So into the ones column, the tens column, and they've ended up in the hundreds column. Okay. What about this one? 4 divided by 1,000 is 4/10. Now, I hope you spotted that that one isn't right either, because actually our 4 ones, if we've got 4/10 here, they've only moved 1 place to the right, haven't they? So this has only been divided by 10 at the moment. Okay, 4/10 is 1/10 of 4. So in order to divide it by 1,000, we need to move the digit 4 3 places to the right. So let's imagine it was here in our ones column. We'd need to move it to the tenths, the hundredths, and then the thousandths. So we should end up with 4 thousandths. So we need our 2 placeholders and then our 4 in that 3rd column. Okay, what about this one? 40 divided by 1,000 is 4 hundredths. Well, yeah, that one works for me because we've moved 1, 2, 3 places. So we've moved into our ones, then our tenths, then our hundredths. And we're in the hundredths column there. So this one is correct. So hopefully you thought the same as me. Now this one, which is heaviest, this is designed to get your brains thinking about what you did yesterday in maths, because we learnt about what 10 grams was in relation to 1,000 grams, which is a kilogram. And we also learnt what 100 grams was in relation to 1,000 grams. Okay, so looking at these 3 measurements, I can see that one of them's in grams and 2 of them are in kilograms. So I think it would make sense to convert this one into kilograms, because then we'd have kilograms all across that we could convert. So I know that 10 grams is 1/100th of 1,000 kilograms. Okay, so I'm just going to write my 1/100th. Okay, 10 grams is 1/100th. And if we look at this little diagram here, you can see my, if I just shade it in actually, there's 10 grams, one lot of 10 grams. And we can remember that actually we've got 100 lots of 10 grams to make our whole 1,000 grams. Yeah, because 10 lots of 10 is 1,000. 10 lots of 10 is 100. And then we'd have our 10 lots of hundreds to make 1,000. There we go, I'm trying to get my head around that. If I just show you this, I can reveal that underneath each 10 gram is worth 1/100th. Okay, and we can see counting up in hundredths there, can't we? Okay, but remember that 10 hundredths makes 1/10. So we've got that equivalent amount there. Okay, so let's look then. So we're comparing 1/100th of a kilogram, 1/10 of a kilogram, sorry, I'm trying to write kilogram, and 7/100ths of a kilogram. So we can see that this one is heaviest. Okay, and actually I know that this would be 100 grams compared to 10 grams or 70 grams. So we could have converted into grams as well. Okay, what do you remember about the rules for converting grams to kilograms and kilograms to grams? Because we were looking at those mathematical rules, weren't we? And actually we can kind of use what we had up here. If we had 10 grams, what would we have to do? What would we have to do in order to end up with our kilogram amount? Okay, hopefully you remembered that we would need to go from, if we were converting grams to kilograms, we would need to divide the grams by 1,000. So if I just put that one in there, 10 divided by 1,000 would be 1/100th. And so to convert our kilograms to grams, we would need to multiply the kilograms by 1,000 because we'd need more little grams, wouldn't we? Okay, hopefully that was a bit of a recap of all those things, because we're going to need all these skills today. We're going to need to think about our multiplying and dividing by 1,000. We're going to need to remember that 10 grams is worth 1/100th of a kilogram, and 100 grams is worth 1/10 of a kilogram. Okay, you can always look back at this or look back at yesterday's lesson if you're not sure about those things. Okay, let's learn. So Mrs. Bracknell has got 3 presents here, and she wants to record the mass of the parcels in kilograms so she can post them to her family. I don't know if you guys have sent parcels during this lockdown to people, maybe at Christmas, but post offices like you to put on the weight of a package, which we could also say is the mass of a package. Okay, what can you say about the measurements already? Pause the video, have a look, say what you can see, and you might want to use some of these stems. Okay, so I hope these were helpful. I would sort of think about, if I wanted to say anything about these measurements, I'd say they're all in grams, and I'd look and sort of compare the sizes of the numbers, and I'd think, well, I know that 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram, so I can see that the blue parcel and the yellow parcel are both more than a kilogram, because I can see that we've got 2,000 here and we've got 1,000 here. But the red package is less than a kilogram. So this one is the lightest because we've only got 3 digits there. We haven't got 1,000, have we? So hopefully that just gives you a sense. It's always good to look up the information you're given, just so that you can make a decision about what you've got. It will help you work out problems later. Okay, so let's convert this mass, the mass of the blue parcel, first. Now I want you to think about how you would do this, because we've done lots of converting over the last couple of days and the last week as well. So can you now think about your own accurate method for turning these grams into kilograms? Okay, pause the video now and have a think about that. Okay, I hope you got on well. There are lots of different methods, but here is one way. Here's the way that I would think about it using my reasoning. So I would start with my 2,050 grams and I'd partition it into 2,000 grams and 50 grams. And so I'd think, well, I know that 1,000 grams is a kilogram, so 2,000 grams has got to be 2 kilograms. And I know that this works because we have divided our 1,000 by 1,000. So we need to divide our 2,000 by 1,000. Because when we are converting our grams to kilograms, we divide the grams by 1,000. Okay, we want our kilograms to be a smaller number, don't we? Now, 10 grams, I need to think about my 50 grams, so I'd start by thinking about 10 grams. So I know that 10 grams is 1/100th of 1,000 grams. And that would still work, wouldn't it, with my rule? 10 divided by 1,000 is 1/100th. So 50 grams has got to be 5/100ths. 50 divided by 1,000 is 5/100ths. Okay? Now, I would actually write this in a few different ways. And if you didn't use this method, that's fine. But I want you to think about this especially, because we can write 2,050 grams. We can separate it into the kilograms and the grams, like we did when we were doing kilometers and meters. So just pause the video and think, how many whole kilograms have we got here and how many grams? Okay, so hopefully you saw that 2,050 grams is the same as 2 kilograms, because we've got our 2,000 grams, and we've got 50 grams as well. Or we could write it together, couldn't we? If I look at the information that I've just worked out, my 2,000 grams was 2 kilograms, sorry, wrong one, and my 50 grams was 5/100ths of a kilogram. So I could put those together, 2.05 kilograms, okay? This will be important because some of the questions later will ask you to write your gram amounts as kilograms and grams, and sometimes you'll be asked to just write it as kilograms as well. Okay, so I wonder how you did it. I suppose if you had a different way of doing it, if I just blank this out for a moment, you could have just quite simply thought, well, I know that in order to convert my grams into kilograms, I just need to divide my grams by 1,000. And you might have done that in one go. So 2,050 divided by 1,000 would leave us with 2.05 kilograms. So there's lots of ways to think about it, okay? Now, I want us to think about converting the mass of the red parcel next, and this is the one that was less than a whole kilogram. So again, pause the video, see how you are going to do it, and maybe try a different method. If you used the pink one that I just did, you know, dividing straight away, think about breaking it down and doing a different method to prove your understanding. Pause the video now. Okay, so here is another way that I would do it, slightly different way. I'd use what I know, I'd use my reasoning, because we did some similar calculations to this yesterday, because we've got 100 grams and we've got 10 grams, because 570 grams can be split into 500 and it can be split into 70. So I know that 100 grams is 1/10 of a kilogram, okay? I'm going to read that here as well. I know that 100 grams is 1/10 of 1,000 grams. So it is also 1/10 of 1 kilogram, okay? So if 100 grams is 1/10 of a kilogram, 500 grams has got to be 5/10 of a kilogram, okay? And I know that 10 grams is 100th of a kilogram, because I know that 10 grams is 100th of 1,000 grams, so it's also 100th of a kilogram. So if 10 grams is 100th, 70 grams has got to be 700ths. So I know that altogether I've got 500 grams, so I've got 5/10ths, and I've got 70 grams, which is 700ths. So I need to add together my 5/10ths and my 700ths, which would make 0.57. So 570 grams is the same as 0.57 kilograms. And now this makes sense. I can check because I know that 570 is less than a whole kilogram, which is why I've got a 0 here. I don't have any 1 whole kilograms. Okay. So I wonder if you used my method, or if you used your reasoning, or if you used a different one. Maybe you just did 570 divided by 1,000, and that gave you the answer. Okay, finally, let's convert the mass of the yellow package. So see if you can use your reasoning for this one like I did. Maybe you could write down 2 different methods for this one to really challenge yourself. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, so this is the way that I would think about it. I would start with my 1,150 grams, and I would partition it into 1,000 grams, because I've got 1,000 there, my 100 grams, and my 50 grams. And this is really easy, actually. I don't need to do lots of dividing by 1,000 now, because I know that 1,000 grams is the same as 1 kilogram, which I've got there. I know that 100 grams is the same as 1/10 of a kilogram. I know that 10 grams would be 100th, so I know 50 grams has got to be 500ths of a kilogram. So I've got to add all these together now. I've got to add my 1 kilogram, my 1/10, and my 500ths. I have to think about why I'm not adding this one. Remember, this was just a fact to help me. And if I add those all together, I would end up with 1.15 kilograms. Okay. But remember that we can also separate our whole amount of grams. We can think about how many whole kilograms there are and how many grams there are. So just pause the video and think about how you would write it. What would it be the same as in kilograms and grams? Okay, so hopefully you know that 1,150 grams is the same as 1 kilogram, because we've got our 1,000 grams, and we'd have 150 grams, not as a whole kilogram. Okay, super. So hopefully that's given you the skills that you need now to do the guided practice, because in the guided practice, I want you to think about writing these gram amounts as kilograms and grams first, where you can, and then I want you to convert the grams into kilograms using a method of your choice. Okay, you can use your reasoning, or you can use your dividing by 1,000. and then have a think about solving this problem. Pause the video. Okay, so hopefully you got on really well with that. Now, if we go through these questions, I can see 1,540 grams. I know that that is more than 1 whole kilogram. Ooh, so, sorry, I'm just going to reveal this. The answers. Oh, I haven't quite done that right. I might just move it slightly. Oh dear, my glitches. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see here that we've got 1 whole kilogram because we've got 1,000 grams, and then we've got 540 grams as well. Okay, and when we convert that, if we did 1,540 and we divided it by 1,000, we'd end up with 1.54. Okay, super. Now this one is less than whole kilograms, so I'm not going to write this one in kilograms and grams. We just need to know what the kilograms would be. Okay, so again, you can divide this by 1,000 and you should end up with 0.97 kilograms. Okay, or 97 hundredths of a kilogram. Now, our bananas here, we've got more than 1,000 grams, so we've definitely got some kilograms and grams, haven't we? So let's reveal what's under here. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you can see that we've got 2 kilograms because we've got 2,000 grams and we've got 150 grams left over. And if we convert that into our kilograms, we've got 2.15 kilograms. Excellent. Okay, now this problem says which one is lighter. So we've got a blue bag and a red bag. Which one is lighter and by how much? So we've got a gram amount and then we've got a scale with just kilograms on it. So I'd need to decide which way round I would want to actually work this out. Do I want my 2 numbers that I'm going to compare to be in grams, so numbers around 1,000, or do I want them to be kilograms, so decimals? So we've done more calculating with thousands, whole numbers, so I think I'm going to convert my kilograms into grams. So I'd need to first of all start by thinking about what this scale actually shows, and I can see that each little mark is 1/10 of the whole. So I've got 1 whole kilogram and then 2/10. Okay, so 1 whole and 2/10. Now I have written what that would be in kilograms, in grams quite easily, because I know that 1 kilogram, my 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, and my 2/10 of a kilogram is 200 grams. So I've got 1,200 grams altogether. But it does say which one is lighter and by how much. So I now need to look at my 2 amounts. I've got my 1,020 grams here, and I've got my 1,200 grams here. Okay, think about where that number has come from. Now I can see that this one is greater than this one because 200 is greater than 20. So how can I work out the difference in the weight? How can I work out the difference? Well, I'd need to start with my larger amount, my greater amount, a bit like my whole, okay, 1,200, and I'd need to subtract my smaller amount, 1,020. And it's a little bit like doing 200 to take away 20, isn't it? Because I know that 1,000 take away 1,000 is no thousands. So that would leave me with 200s take away 20. So that's a nice easy one. It would be 180 grams difference. Okay, ooh, because 200 take away 20 is 180. Okay, super. Now you've got some independent practice tasks to do, and hopefully you're set up really nicely to do those now. Remember to show your methods, show your working out, try different methods. And then at the end, there is a deeper thinking challenge, and the answers are at the end of the PDF. So remember to send your work into the Year 5 email, and good luck everyone. Bye.